In football, there are players who define generations. There are players who win trophies. And there are players who change the game itself. And then there's Xavi Hernández, a magician, a conductor, a man whose vision turned football into poetry. But despite conquering the world with Barcelona and Spain, there's one golden prize he never touched: the Ballon d'Or. How could that be? How could one of the greatest midfielders in history, who redefined the modern game, never be crowned the world's best player? Today, we revisit one of football's biggest injustices, the story of Xavi Hernández's Ballon d'Or snub, the brilliance, the heartbreak, and the legacy that outlived the trophy. Born in Terrassa, Catalonia in 1980, Xavi grew up in a football family. His father was a former player. Football wasn't just a dream, it was destiny. At just 11 years old, he joined La Masia. Even as a child, coaches noticed something different about him. He wasn't fast, he wasn't strong, but his mind was faster than anyone else's. One of his youth coaches once said, he played football like he was reading the future. By 18, he debuted for Barcelona's senior team, stepping in for Pep Guardiola, the man he would later inspire. Pep told him, "You'll retire me and you'll do it better." Those words weren't arrogance, they were prophecy. The early 2000s weren't kind to Barcelona. Real Madrid had the Galacticos. Barca was struggling for identity. But through those dark years, one man became the light. Xavi's passing rhythm started to define how Barcelona played. He wasn't just making passes, he was dictating time itself, like a metronome controlling every heartbeat of the game. Then came Frank Rijkaard and a young Brazilian named Ronaldinho. Together, they rebuilt Barcelona's joy. Xavi started to shine, but the real revolution was still to come. In 2008, Pep Guardiola became Barcelona's manager. A disciple of Johan Cruyff's philosophy, Pep believed in one thing: dominate the ball, control the game. And who better to do that than Xavi Hernández? Under Pep, Xavi became the brain of the machine. Messi was the dagger, Iniesta was the art. But Xavi, he was the architect. The 2008-09 season changed football forever. Barcelona won the treble, La Liga, Copa del Rey, Champions League. And Xavi was the conductor behind every note of that symphony. That year he produced 29 assists, numbers midfielders could only dream of. Every goal started with him, every play ran through him. Then came 2010, the year the world finally noticed. It was the perfect year. Barcelona dominated Europe. Spain, built around Barcelona's system, won the World Cup. And at the center of it all, Xavi Hernández. He led Spain's midfield like a general. No panic, no rush, just pure control. He completed over 91% of his passes across the tournament, unheard of at the time. He created more chances than any other midfielder at the World Cup. Spain's tiki-taka wasn't about flair, it was about control, precision, patience. It was Xavi football. He had done everything. He won every major title. He dominated every game. He made football look like art. Surely this was his Ballon d'Or year. But then came the twist. When the 2010 Ballon d'Or finalists were announced, something amazing and tragic happened. All three nominees were from Barcelona: Messi, Iniesta, Xavi. It should have been a celebration. Instead, it became a controversy. For many, it was clear this was Xavi's time. Even Messi admitted later, Xavi and Iniesta deserved the Ballon d'Or more than me. But when the envelope opened, Lionel Messi was crowned again. Xavi finished third, Iniesta second. And in that moment, the world began to debate. Does the Ballon d'Or truly reward the best player or the most glamorous one? Because if it was about control, leadership, consistency, and intelligence, there was no competition. 2010 was controversial for another reason. Many believed Wesley Sneijder deserved it too, after leading Inter Milan to a treble and reaching the World Cup final. So you had three geniuses, Xavi, Iniesta, and Sneijder, all rewriting football in different ways. But none of them won. The trophy went again to Messi. It wasn't about fairness anymore. It was about narrative. And Xavi never complained. He didn't chase headlines, he just kept creating them. Through his football, Between 2008 and 2012, he was the heartbeat of two dynasties, Barcelona and Spain. He won 2 Euros, 1 World Cup, 3 Champions Leagues, 7 La Ligas, and yet the Ballon d'Or never had his name. But here's the truth. You can't measure Xavi's greatness in trophies or awards, because Xavi didn't play football for numbers. He played to make everyone around him better. He inspired a new generation of midfielders. Thiago, Pedri, De Bruyne, Cruz. Every player who values control and vision owes something to Xavi. He once said, "What I do is look for the space. If I find it, I pass. If I don't, I move until I do." That's not just football. That's philosophy. Today, Xavi's name lives in history books, not for what he didn't win, but for what he created. He changed football. He taught the world that brains beat power, that teamwork beats ego, that beauty can win. And though he never lifted the Ballon d'Or, he lifted something greater, the respect of every player who ever touched a football. Trophies fade, awards age, but legacies, they last forever. And Xavi Hernández, he is eternal. This was Football Frenzy, and this was the story of the greatest player to never win the Ballon d'Or. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Do you think Xavi deserved the 2010 Ballon d'Or? Let's talk football.